10 seconds remaining.
Newbee drafts. Part of the reason that we see a problem with Newbee sometimes, the 4 position, right? I think this first game, or the last game rather, against Team Liquid was a great example in their draft. They had a Kaka Agasar.
Yes.
Right? They picked it up in the first 1-2, and then they proceeded with Lycan, Tidehunter, Tinker. None of those heroes are going to be able to create you any space, and you're asking Kaka to make plays with an Agasar. Simply not going to happen, but you can see the extreme focus on the team fight. So for me, I want to be able to see Newbee that if they're going to pick up Kaka's hero in the first 1 or 2, it's not going to be that effective in the game, but that means you're going to have one core that is going to be a lot more active. One of those Razors, Juggernauts, Gyrocopters, and Newbee have done that before. They've drafted those sort of situations, right? So that's the thing that I want to see from Newbee if they draft Kaka's heroes early. If not, you can go for the big team fight. You can get Omni Knight, you can get Tidehunter in the first 1-2, and leave Kaka for a 3-4 pick.
And I think that's a big part of why they had so much success going into TI, is that they really focused on getting Mugi, former UU9, onto these tempo carries, the Bloodseekers, heroes that be a little bit more active. I love the Bane open that's become very popular in this tournament, really punishes the single core, and their Vici Gaming opens with the Omni Knight. They feel that after opening the Omni Knight, they have to take the counter pick away. They have to take the Rubik counter off the table for themselves, but that lets Newbee get the Razor, which Vici had been loving to run with that Omni.
I think they just wanted Rubik, personally. Like, they're not worried about a Rubik Bane support duo. That's very weak, but still, Rubik in his own, definitely a good pick. Newbee, though, obviously, they know, we talked about contested picks, Omni Knight, going to be picked up by one of these teams. Newbee took a long time to first pick Bane. I think they may have been considering the Omni, but they decided, look, we can give up Omni because we're going to get that core first 2 pick, the lane winner against Omni, and they pick up the Razor.
It's the same thing they did against Liquid in their game number 2, but Liquid opted to pick up a bunch of team fight, and Newbee were able to get that 4th pick up in the Omni Knight. Here, what I really like about the Bane opener is that it works both well with the Omni Knight, and it works well with the counter to Omni Knight in the Razor specifically, not necessarily. You know, you just get asleep, get a static on him. What's he gonna do? He's just gonna sit there asleep. When he wakes up, there's gonna be a big bad Razor with plus 70 damage on him.
Yeah, and I think the Bane is also, it gives you really that dual mid threat too. Again, you know, these teams know each other very well. I think they played like 10 best of 3s or best of 5s in the last 4 months. Vici, I believe, leads that series 6-4, but all pretty close. And I think Newbee wants to threaten Ori a little bit, threaten his early laning stage. Bane does that.
Yeah, and they've taken away one of his perhaps best mids as far as laning prowess. The Death Prophet's been played a ton of this tournament. Very hard to actually pressure because of the Spirit Siphon. If you don't have like a Tusk or something really strong to roam with, suddenly those rotations don't work as well. I feel like Kaka's here is going to be interesting in this game. I think the Earth Spirit could come out for him. Very good having a stun silence against Omni, of course, and to be able to also pressure the mid lane, pressure Ori. That's to me looking like the most likely 4 position, but Sanking, another kind of Kaka classic that he plays a lot of. I'm just not as sold on Sanking as a hero compared to the Earth Spirit.
I think if you look at what Newbee are doing in this draft, that you guys are right that Ori's hero pool is really going to be a focus here. They take out, you look at Ori's hero pool this patch, okay? 13-5 Puck, 13-4 Death Prophet, 10-2 Shadow Fiend. And then you go down, and the next one is 4-4 Tinker, all right? Those 3 heroes are so key. You take out the Death Prophet directly, you take out the clock to limit the potential of the Shadow Fiend, and you still got the Puck on board, but there are plenty left in the pool that can deal with that.
Yeah, I think Puck's also just not as scary as the other 2. As good as his win rate is, it just doesn't feel like a game-winning hero as much as certain other picks.
If anything, it feels like better as like kind of the opening 2-3 pickups where you still have the versatility in draft. Definitely doesn't seem like one of those, oh, we got you with the Pucks. Or yeah.
Night Stalker for Vici, they get their 4 position Roma. Most picked hero on this patch, I believe. Doesn't seem to go anyway, just with how strong he is at level 1. Something that can actually fight and protect their mid lane a bit.
Most picked in this patch, but Alan, has it been seeing the same kind of popularity over the last?
No, Night Stalker's really fallen out of favor. It's actually in 707 itself, Vici are only 3-3 with Night Stalker. I think that the nerfs, particularly the vision nerf, to what Darkness is able to do has really hurt Night Stalker.
Yeah, Darkness does, he also does less in that first nighttime with the passive.
Yeah.
Getting that nerf on the very first level. I don't know, it just seems like Night Stalker is kind of losing hero right now, but it does take a very fast pace. I'm happy that Vici Gaming here.
Let me bring us back to, though, a point that you made earlier about the Kaka Naga Siren on the side of Newbee. I like it a lot better here, and the reason is because you already have the Bane on board, who's a lane dominator who can at least secure one of those 3 lanes for you in the early game. Places much less of a burden on Kaka roaming around making plays. Razor also very autonomous in the lane.
Yeah, we've got an active core. That's the part that really sells it for me.
And as far as the team fight goes, it's good because sleep, Omni GAs, you sleep, you reset the fight, and you then re-engage. And
even darkness initiations, right? Like, hell, let's just get out.
I wonder if they go for what big team fighter it is. The Tide or the Enigma, I feel like, is the definite 2. Enigma with the sleep setup is just so amazing. Rubik is scary, yes, and that kind of protects you against that big Enigma pick, but I think you can still play around. If you get enough farm, you get the Lincoln Sphere, it could just win you the game on its own.
Actually, I think you just answered why they picked up the Rubik there and no too, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's really the answer, because we saw that how well the Enigma countered the Omni Knight concept in these team fights. They pick up the Rubik. It's really hard to force yourself in that situation.
It's just such a good pick. You leave the other team to take it, it's horrible for the Omni Knight, and then you can't go Enigma either. I mean, it's just it's such a strong second pick, isn't it?
If they didn't have Rubik, I'd be saying Enigma's the perfect pick here, hands down, no questions asked. But now I'm like, it's still good, but you may lean more towards the Tide Hunter because of it.
The 2 things worth noting to me is that Vici has gone ahead and gone back to that Ori Shadow Fiend 10-2 in this patch. Also had 17 kills in the clincher the other night against their sister squad. I believe that's either the highest or second highest kill total we've seen so far in the tournament. Also worth mentioning, Enigma into Rubik.
Wow, I think it's a good pick.
I mean, it's the right pick in many ways, but it's just so hard to play this Enigma.
You like it? You like it?
Yeah, sure. It's like I was saying, this was
You've got to play safe.
This was the best pick. This pick would win you the game if there's no Rubik. Now it's still a good pick, though.
Oh, man.
You can itemize. You get a Lincoln Sphere, you know? You itemize around it. Obviously, that's a lot of farm. That's like the ultra late game. But you win the late game against Omni, against the Rubik spell still with itemization.
Naga Siren still protects quite a bit. Like, Naga Siren's going to start the initiation for you sometimes, so you can get the black hole, maybe even on the Rubik himself. Or you can get other disables on him, maybe like Bane just goes for the Fiend's Grip on the Rubik or something. And then on top of that, if he does steal the Rubik, you also have the ability to stop the black hole by just canceling the team fight.
Yeah, I think after a little thought, I'm on board with Gons here, because, so the thing is, that you got to pick a paparazzi hero here last. There's really no other paparazzi hero than Void that has the BKB person, guaranteed BKB person disabled to stop the black hole. And you can't pick Void into Naga, right? You think Core Venge? Core Venge has looked really awkward in the recent games that I've seen.
I mean, it's an answer, like you say, to the BKB black hole, but
I think it gets them out of the Enigma, doesn't it?
Yeah, I have to agree.
You can still pick Void. It's not ideal. Again, it's one of those things where, how are you going to use the sleep? It's got a long cooldown, especially that level 1 sleep, and as a support, you're not going to be getting the same level, so Void is still on the table, but it's the same with the Enigma. You don't want to pick it, but if it may still be the best option.
Yeah, I just feel like if you don't pick some kind of BKB person disable here, you could straight lose the game in the draft.
In the late game, and that's the other option for Vici. If you want to not give the Enigma a chance to win the game, apply pressure, play fast pace.
But that's the other problem, is that I feel like this newbie lineup has enough D push, they have enough high ground defense, that it's going to be hard to end the game. It's going to be hard to end the game past that turtle.
No discussion.
I'm Vici Gaming. It looks like this, any sort of these Lincoln's carries are going to be quite good. They don't have like they have 2 really big disables, basically. So I was going to say Weaver, you pick up the Lincoln's Weaver, you're not afraid of the Bane so much, there's only the black hole to really be able to lock you down for the most part. You wanted a very active core to be able to fight Newbee with a Viper and Razor core duo. You're going to need to be able to make sure that they can't just run you over. Weaver's good versus both.
Okay, let's go down the line, Alan. Which way is this going?
Newbee, I think the Enigma secures the late game, and the Viper and the Razor secure the mid game. I think the laning stage is solid.
If it's a long game, definitely Newbee. It's kind of like, can Vici snowball win the early game, and they've got good heroes to do it. But I'll side with Newbee. I think we're going to see a longer affair between these teams.
I actually like Vici's draft, but still going to go Newbee as the Vici Gaming hate.
You have to. It's also Australia Day, so we got to go with KP, you know?
But that's a good point.
No better way to celebrate with an Australian.
Clear bias.
All right, well, a little bit of bias is okay, right? No problem with that. Right, we are ready for our first game of the day. I hope you are as well at home. Hold on to your seats, everyone, here in the Arena of Stars, because the stars on the stage have it now. It's Vici versus Newbee, Game 1.
Thank Thank you very much, Red Eye, and a big warm welcome to everyone here in Genting as we get ready for our first series of the day. I'm OD Pixel. I'll be joined by Fog for this one. Newbee versus Vici Gaming Game 1. Fog, what are you looking forward to after seeing these two lineups come through?
I am super hyped for KP Enigma. Absolutely, dude. We're gonna have Black Holes coming out on one side. I'm hoping LonM can steal some, but we'll see how it comes out and how we play out these lanes. I do agree a lot with what the desk was saying. I did like how the point that Gods was saying, where I think Vici really needs to get the ball rolling in this game. I think the early game is going to be so important, as it tends to be with Night Stalker a lot of the times. So yeah, they really need to snowball these, because the later and later the game goes, I've seen this Enigma versus Omni Knight matchup, and it tends to favor the Enigma quite heavily in those later stages.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into the game. Newbee, they're going to be having SCCC on the Viper, Kaka, Naga Siren, Faith Bane, Mugi Razor, KP, Enigma. Over on the side of Vici Gaming, we're going to be seeing a Young 11 heading down to the bottom on the Omni Knight. Ori, of course, on his Shadow Fiend, Paparazzi Weaver, Lanham, Rubik, and last but not least, of course, their classic Fenrir Night Stalker looking to be moving around the map. So what do you sort of expect to see coming out of the lanes, Fogged? If you're one of these sides, are you looking to dodge a certain matchup that could be very lane losing in the early game?
I'm thinking Vici might go for some type of aggro movement here, but I guess they want to, I guess they want to make sure that the Omni Knight just dodges the Razor. So that makes sense. Put Omni versus Enigma every single time. Can't get that horrible matchup as Panel was mentioning. So it's just that, like, that super dominator, that Razor. We used to see like a bit of that Ursa a long time ago that just crushes the Omni in the lane, and you are just at a big deficit. So yeah, just dodge Omni Razor, and I think they're good.
Absolutely, this Mugi Razor definitely something that Newbee need to make sure has a big impact early on to sort of spiral out of control.
Look at this. We see the lane swaps already kind of happening from that ward that they placed very early. Kaka's scouting out, going to be contesting that rune.
See if Ori's able to take it, and he will actually be able to steal it from him. Able to grab it. Right underneath his nose, and indeed starting off with the double bounty rune. A great way for Ori to begin his lane in the middle.
So does SCCC, so double bounties on both.
Okay, so there we go, evened out. And obviously with the two supports that are going to look to help them out either side of the mid, Night Stalker, Penrith for VG, and then obviously behind the Viper, you are going to have Faith's Bane. I mean, we'll see how well they can sort of slow down the start of Ori's first wave, make sure that he doesn't get those souls early on.
I think Newbee's going to be very happy once they see these lanes. Bam, Razor's going to see the Omni top, where we should see a change up happen in the next few moments, probably. I don't believe that they want to just sack Young 11 up there. The bottom, we'll just see them try to clearing up some Eidolons, as expected. Dual range. So that mid matchup, this is going to be pretty tough for the Shadow Fiend. We've seen this a bunch of times. This is, I think, one of the only ways that people are really seeing to deal with that Shadow Fiend is picking this Viper, and then you just do these dual lanes. I mean, that's what mid is now. It's actually just a 2-2. And Bane Viper versus Night Stalker Shadow Fiend does not seem very pleasant for Vici.
Yeah, it's got a few CS Ori, but definitely, as we can see, SCCC with the lead at the moment, 4 for 3 against that 3 for 1.
It'll get harder and harder, the problem with the lane. They're gonna have to make rotations, probably line him, make some smoke moves, but I'm still pretty surprised they have not really tried to change the lanes up just yet. Because not only is the dominant matchup versus the Razor versus Omni, but Enigma's denying Creep's bottom versus that Weaver, so he's actually farming even less than he would be.
Keeping the lane nice and close to the tower as well here, Newbee on this safe lane, so certainly making things very hard for Paparazzi and, as you say, the Lanham Rubik to do too much to help him out in this lane. He's just keeping him safe, making sure that he can get the farm. That pressure isn't going to be there for Newbee, and they are going to be having a fine old time.
I like this decision by Fenrir. He's changed his priority. Rather than just sitting that 2v2 in the mid lane, he knows there's nothing he can do to help really versus Bane Viper, so he's just going to stack. He's got to be able to enable his Shadow Fiend to just catch up after the laning phase.
Definitely something that the SF can do. We've seen it a few times this land where the SF does struggle in the lane, but thanks to the raises and the flash farming potential, can absolutely catch back up in the game if the rest of the team can keep control and make sure that it doesn't get too out of control in the early stages in the other lanes.
Yeah, you know, I was saying they should probably switch it up, but 11's actually
He's doing
7-5 last. It's the 6-4 Razor. He's doing great. Having the early boots, letting him run away from that Razor early on. Oop, Razor doesn't have boots, so he can break the link quite easily, and he's in a safe lane, so it does make it a little bit easier in that aspect. Pretty impressive stuff coming out from 11.
Paparazzi leading the CS though. We can see him Getting pretty much perfect down here, 16 for 3.
Bunch of Eidolons.
Sure. Certainly been thrown into it, but all that's up for Paparazzi. He's just looking for the Aquila, keep that lane control strong. He is top of the net worth at the moment in these very early stages. But yeah, still to yet see sort of an aggressive rotation from either side. That certainly could change once we do hit that first night time, of course, as long as Fenrir feels confident to go. He's level 2 at the moment, but that certainly can be enough if you can get the right angle and find the right lane to gank to make the moves happen early in the night.
Yeah, I mean, Vici should be pretty happy with this. I wouldn't say that they really got these like awesome lane setups because the Omni missed it, but they're doing
Look at this down bottom. There's a very deep dive. There will be a TP reaction coming through, but I don't know if it's going to be soon enough as they move in on to KP. Paparazzi gets first blood. TP's a little too late from Kaka, and nothing that KP could do about this Weaver Rubik diving him underneath the tier 1.
And this is what we said they need to do. Just keep that pace up, get that aggression going early on. Super important. And still, the priority comes out. If you look at Fenrir, you look at Lanem, they're just stacking. Get those stacks up for Shadow Fiend because they know even though he's doing pretty well in the mid lane, he needs to be able to accelerate his farm as a Shadow Fiend. Need to be ahead as that hero for the most part.
Mugi getting a bit of a better grasp of that top lane now. 2 points in static link. See each time that he steals about 100 or so, he's able to get a good amount of denies. 18 to 10 against the 13 for 6. So we'll start to break ahead of Young 11 in terms of the XP as well, which is certainly going to be the important part. As it makes him a lot harder to gank if heroes are trying to move around, especially Fenrir during the nighttime. If he looks towards that top lane, if the Eye of the Storm is available, Fenrir has to be careful how he dives the towers because Razor can certainly turn.
Yeah. And those, I mean, getting the boots is the biggest thing on the Razor. Sure, a couple levels, yeah, the link starts adding up faster, but boots so needed versus that Omni since he got them early on. But Vici, I mean, Paparazzi's going to have a very, very free time down here.
At this bottom lane, I mean, she's at the early sort of levels. KP was doing all right with Kaka's backup, but that kill, it sort of just progressed into this absolute dominance for Vici. 32 for 4 against the 11 for 9. You know, Paparazzi, he's having no sort of pressure being applied to him at all. Faith's now going to move down here, so it looks like Newbee, they realize this and they do want to try and slow down this Weaver somehow.
Yeah, they've actually been the one who's actually had to change their lanes. That's very surprising. The Razor's gonna go bottom, Enigma's gonna go top matchup versus the Omni.
They try with a quick route, they will turn towards the easier kill, they'll look towards Phantom, they have that good Nightmare into the static links, dealing a hefty amount of damage, and Newbee will get themselves the first kill on the board for their own side.
Quick rotation. Now Mugi's gonna have a decent matchup versus Paparazzi too, because he's got the level advantage.
This is certainly what they needed to do, try and make Paparazzi suffer that little bit more. Fenrir heading over, trying to interfere with KP, cleaning up the jungle camp. Still just level 2 here on the Night Stalker, and so far during this night time hasn't really been able to have too much of an impact with his movements.
Trying to get some bounty runes to get some levels, but it'll be denies there away from them. Both supports bottom, so they are trying to just, you're saying, babysit that Weaver since they know Shadow Fiend, he had those stacks to rely on. As you see, his last hits has surged up a bit. He has cleared one of those stacks that he does have available.
Let's see if Vici can do anything offensive here. They have got 3 versus the 3 of Newbee, opening onto Kakalanum. After telekinesis, drags him back with a turn with the root onto the Weaver, moving in straight away, but Paparazzi still gets a chance, so Shikuchi will retreat. Lanham isn't going to be quite as lucky. The Brain Stab comes in, Newbee have the damage to bring down the Rubik. They look towards Fenrir, he's got the movement speed as the Knight still persists, so he will escape. But just going to show, once that 6 is online with the Eye of the Storm, Razor becomes such a hard hero to fight into. If there's a chance for a good static link at this stage of the game, it's pretty much impossible for them to deal with the physical damage that he can output.
It's a pretty painful tri-lane too. Naga Siren plus Bane, Razor. Riptide works really well with Razor and incorporates with the Eye of Storm as well as the static.
He's come back up here, but here's the combo we're talking about, the setup for a good static link. VG are going to try and move in. There is no Eye of the Storm, but can they bring that Mugi in time? He's going to have a lot of physical stolen. Forces Fenrir back now, turns towards Paparazzi, has the Shikuchi with the bugs, bringing down the armor of Newbee. They're getting pretty low. Paparazzi going to turn back towards Mugi once again. Can he finally? Can. Mugi gets taken down. Paparazzi just falls to the right look at Kaka. It's a 1-for-1 at the moment. The TP rotations have come through. SCCC moving forward. Purification onto Fenrir as he dives towards Kaka, but the tree's blocking them off. VG can't quite dive for the Kaka or Faith kill. They'll be fine under the tower for now. SCCC getting the slow onto Fenrir. He's trying to get himself out of this. Young 11 turns towards Kaka on the side of it all. He's held in. He's trying to do his best. The brain sap and the root holding back the Omni Knife. Fenrir comes with a void, but the raindrop keeps Kaka alive. He'll be fine. And they're not done yet. They're looking towards Young 11, but they are out of mana. Meanwhile, Paparazzi actually rotates up towards the top lane, moves onto KP, can't quite chase. The bugs aren't back there.
Yeah, he shot the bugs, but that's the one nice thing about Enigma is you have Eidolon, so you instantly kill those bugs off of yourself, so the diving is a little bit lessened. But that is the one super powerful thing about Weaver always is going to be the swarm. You saw how much it actually added up there in that last engagement. Even though Razor had so much damage added up, the minus armor just starts ticking away.
5-2 at the moment. Newbee off the back of those kills that they were able to grab from that bottom lane, keeping their own heroes alive on incredibly low life.
Hey, I mean, Ori's really happy out of all this, right? He's just been coasting in the jungle for quite a while now. He's queued up a SNY after the treads, so not going for the drums, not the Yules, the build that we're used to seeing. Doesn't want to be able to get that scaling potential. Like we were saying, the late game, they have to be able to fight pretty early, so I think he wants to get stats. If it gets later and later versus that Enigma and Naga, we've seen what big team fight does in this match.
Bit of a wraparound coming in from Kaka, straight in with the root, able to hold down Ruby, get an easy kill to the side of Newbee, and they'll turn this one into a push, putting some pressure onto the tier 1 tower. Fortification does come out from Vici. Emira's coming across. I don't know how much you to scare this off. There is, as you say, with the space that Ori's got, good levels as well. It's never late. Can burst out the push.
Not nighttime, and these supports on Vici are pretty limited right now. Fenrir level 3, Lanem level 4. Comparison, you look at Newbee supports, both level 5, almost at level 6 pre-10 minutes. So they want to solidify a tower lead.
Waves actually moving in. They've got the Nightmare, they've got the root. They're starting to play around with Vici Gaming underneath their tower. They're moving on to Fenrir. Fenrir's gone, but the TP rotations are there. Straight in with the telekinesis from Lanham, dragging back the Viper. SCC tries for the TP out, but he's not going to make it. Newbee diving a little unnecessarily there, and Vici Gaming quick with the response.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought they'd actually just prioritize going for tower and then going for kill in that situation there, just because of how over-leveled the Shadow Fiend is. Definitely a problem trying to dive versus those triple raises early on. So Mugi will be going for the phase drum build, standard on the Razor now. Lots of phase drum heroes pretty much now in this patch. Phase drum Omni Knight, phase drum Razor. The Kaka has hit level 6 now on the Naga. KP now top is getting dove. Paparazzi.
And the Malefice slowing it down a little bit. He's going to try and chase, but now with Faith TPing in, Paparazzi won't continue to dive too aggressively. Backs away, keeps himself safe.
So we didn't get to say too much about like this Weaver pick. It's actually a pretty good Weaver game. He doesn't have a whole lot of ways to lock him down. If they can get the net or the Fiend's Grip, sure, that's the way that they can kill more Black Hole. But other than that, you don't see these like natural stuns, right? Like some Sanking Burrow, some Slardar stun, something like that to actually just lock him down and get them to bring. They have to expend, for the most part, some ultimates.
Once again, looking towards Lanham in the mid lane. We saw them get the wraparound and the kill before. Are going to tease around with it again. Kaka not looking to go for it. Lanham a little too far and closer to the tier 2 tower, so doesn't want to move in upon it.
Beauty of the Dominator Viper. You hit this every 5-minute mark, you grab a siege, and you can just start pushing. Easily able to claim that mid tower now for Newbee. First tower of the game.
Paparazzi, he's found Faith. Quick Nightmare should keep Faith safe, especially with KP sticking around just behind him. KP closing in on the Midas recipe gold. 100 to go and he'll have that recipe.
They just want to be greedy. That's pretty much what Newbee can do in this game, because like we were saying, to get to that late game, and they should be feeling pretty comfortable with that Naga Enigma combo. But as it stands, looking at the top 3 net worths, I mean Vici, everything came out great, even though the lanes, you know, we saw the Razor Omni matchup, but didn't matter. 11 pulled it off for his team.
Quick sweep of the tree line here, but Newbee already well out of there. Young 11. Make sure that KP can't get his hands on the bounty ring. Moving in quite aggressively here, but obviously has no fear at all with the repel and purification available for him. SCCC getting some space down bottom as he pushes it onto the tier 1 tower. No sort of response from VG as they are all over the top half of the map. Seeing if they can get a sweep around and any sort of catch out. They have their eyes towards mid lane. Mugi is there at this moment.
Tower's very low. Looking to flame this one with that DDSF.
Mugi needs to be a little careful. The Fenrir can sort of run across and start things. But it's a hard kill. You know, level 10 Razor does have the phase and the drums. A lot of maneuverability, but they are going to attempt for it. Sweeping across, Fenrir opening up with the Void. Paparazzi closing the gap, but straight up, looking for the TP out. Is he going to make it? He's not. The telekinesis there just in time from Lanham as VG moving for a big kill. Newbee on the high ground, maybe seeing if they can get something in return. They'll move in straight away, but the Viper Strike and the Nightmare being popped at the same time. Fenrir, he's just going to look to continue to chase. There is a shrine here for Newbee, but VG, they don't seem to be caring. They're going to look to dive in and try and take the kills nonetheless. Plasma Field connects onto Faith. He's still alive for now. Kaka's turned up to the fight. He does have a song if necessary, but it looks like Faith's just going to draw VG away, tank this one for the team, and the Bane will slowly but surely go down as a Faith bolt from Lanham seals the deal.
That was a nice little cut in by Vici there. It actually looked almost threatening for a second because there was a wraparound coming from behind by Newbee, but they actually took, like, they didn't even know those were their heroes were on the right side there, and they took the perfect avenue to get those kills, avoid the Naga sleep into Enigma combo. That's the thing that they need to watch out for when they're going for those dive plays. I'm surprised they actually didn't get any wards placed down during that, because as the map shows it, Vici's kind of blind at the moment. Didn't have any to place there, so just that one in that mid lane.
Thanks and wise for Newbee. KP does have that Midas complete, so we'll start to see him line back up the net worth board, work his way towards that. BKB straight up this game. Was incredibly strong. There's nothing that can be done by Vici Gaming if he gets himself in there with the BKB Black Hole.
Yeah.
And they do have that beautiful setup, as we've been saying, with that Song of the Siren.
I was curious to see if maybe someone would try going for some like neat build, buying that Dominator on Vici. You get that troll creep, you can net it and try to break that Enigma, but
that's true.
They haven't tried to go for it. They do have the Rubik, so that's kind of their contingency plan if that does start to happen. And now we see Newbee. They group up. They don't want to keep getting split up like that from Vici. They want to play around their Naga Enigma a bit more, but Vici's doing exactly what they need to do here.
They're pushing in onto a tier 2 tower down the bottom, 14 minutes in. Early pressure from Paparazzi. And if he's able to claim this tower, he'll have that Diffusal Blade done, so a huge power spike for this Weaver. Closing in on the level 10 as well, he'll have that mana break as well on top of the Diffusal. That is such a massive step up in the damage that Paparazzi can do in these fights.
Yeah, I really like the Diffusal too, because their catch is a bit limited this game, so that like just the slow that you can do from the Diffusal will actually put in a lot of work for his teammates. And trap is set bottom. Kaka's in position for a sleep, but Vici knows this is here. Look at them. They are just poking and prodding, and then they're gonna split up again.
Straight up to the top lane. KP, always Midas. It's off cooldown to get in and pop it, but at the same time he doesn't want to feed his life away to Paparazzi. He's actually going to look to open in. Faith comes in with a Fiend's Grip straight away, and that is going to be a dead Weaver. Smooth plays from Faith. Paparazzi did not expect him to be there. We are going to see VG try for the turnaround. They'll grab Faith, drag him back into the clutches of Orion. Will get a return kill, but Newbee definitely the ones to be happier with that situation.
Yeah, super worth. It was pretty close too. That was almost looking like Paparazzi would have lived. If he actually was on strength treads, he probably would have. He was on in treads to farm the wave.
And that will
very close.
We'll slow down his Diffusal Blade just a little bit. So he's around 200 away now. A little bit longer.
It was really the perfect trap set by Fenrir there, putting down the sentry while he Shikuchis through the wave so he gets the Fiends down. Oh, sorry, not by by Faith there.
Level 6 at the moment, has that complete, and we have seen him pick off quite a few nice plays, but still overall, bit of a slower start to this one, 8 to 6, 16 minutes in, and still very close, of course. Just a 1k lead for Vici Gaming, but as we see Newbee certainly been able to push out these lanes and get some of these earlier tier 1 towers.
They don't really have the greatest ways to force those lanes out on the side of Newbee. That's the difference. They have the Shadow Fiend on Vici as well as the Omni Knight, but on Newbee they really just have like Razor Plasma Field as like that big AoE clear it until the Viper gets more levels in Nether Toxin. But yeah, the same thing's gonna keep happening. They still want to try to take some fights, but AP is pretty far away, so they do have to be a little bit wary of that. Back off from that mid lane. But they got some vision, the main purpose.
We'll see if they do look to go aggressive here, as that Diffusal Blade has just been sent out to Paparazzi.
I would imagine that they would want to make some aggressive play, but they are under some vision. He does have down. We have claimed all the tier 1, so the next step is very risky. Going for tier 2s is always a bit of a fearsome territory. You want to, for the most part, when this time, you want to play around your ward vision. So that they're probably going to go around the bottom, as we see, play around that one ward that they have there. Try to claim that tier 2. Still have to, it's always so fearful in this game, and they actually do see the smoke come out from Newbee from that ward they have in the mid lane. So they are going to back off here.
We'll see if they can maybe try and take the fight on their own terms if they can play from the high ground. But of course that ward, as you mentioned earlier, going to be giving Newbee all the information they know to inform them that this movement isn't going to be successful. They can't continue for this, and with the way that they see Vici Gaming backing, they'll know that it's very likely that they did indeed see them begin that smoke off towards the mid lane.
Yeah, they hadn't seen KP in a while either. He's been kind of not showing himself on the map, so that fear, the Naga sleep into hole, is always going to be there. I'm curious what Kaka's going to build, because he's actually reasonably, quite farmed this game. 4,600 net worth, he's got the Glimmer Cape already finished. I don't think I've seen him go for the Radiance. I know he's gone for Aghanim's a couple times on this Naga, but we'll see if he does change it up.
Getting closer and closer to that BKB as well, KP. The money for the Mithril, and just has to have that recipe complete.
BKBs are going to be a big timing for Newbee.
They are popping the drums here. We'll just see if they can get some sort of a catch, but Lanham and Ori, at least Ori's going to be a little too speedy. Maybe Lanham a little less so with the wraparound from Kaka, and once again looks like the Rubik will be the one to pay. But it does steal the root, turns around, tries to on the back, but the 3 heroes surrounding him. Lanham will get taken down, get caught out, but Ori, of course, does manage to escape that movement.
Pretty slow-paced game, though, for the most part. After the tier 1s have dropped, everybody just doesn't want to take those risks for those tier 2s. It's too fearsome of a territory.
I mean, and with a game sort of that slows down as such, surely you favor the SF Weaver dual core going into the later stages rather than the Viper Razor, or would you say not necessarily?
As the core is like direct matchup, yes, you can see that, but then you have to throw in, there's always that Enigma. Enigma versus this, especially with Naga, just really makes it so much more difficult. And that's CCC. I do like this build that he's gone for here, going for this Maelstrom, so he wants to be able to keep in the farm, be able to push those lanes out better. As we were addressing, they really only have the Plasma Field to nuke those Wims out, as well as, I guess you could say, Kaka's Riptide. Kaka. Veggie trying to play around their ward again.
He's got the Glimmer Cape to get back, they drop a sentry. Immediate response from Faith there, very nice. Drops a sentry and an Ops themselves. Ops will get dewarded though. This looks like they didn't want to reveal themselves and go for the straight deward. As that BKB complete on Mugi's Razor.
BKB's, I was mentioning that the BKB is going to be a big time for Newbee because one of the big teamfight aspects, if not like only the teamfight aspect at Vici, is really the Shadow Fiend at this point. A lot of that magic damage. Omni Knight, of course, is good teamfight, but that BKB is going to help so much just walking into the fight, getting that link off, not really caring what gets thrown at him. No one can stop him once he does use that.
Ori has got an Invis room. We'll see if he does want to try for a Requiem play. Doesn't look like him.
I think it's too risky, yeah. Especially when you have Weaver on your team, the way Newbee's been placing sentries all over the place. Sure. That Invis rune is probably more harmful than good.
Bit of a double-edged sword. Yep. Newbee. So towards that tier 2 and pushing him with the Eidolons, they will be able to claim the tower without any sort of initial response from Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming still keeping very, very much close towards each other in the mid lane, but they do have Paparazzi putting on a bit of pressure down bottom. He's managed to push the wave right up to the base of Newbee. But now he's going to look to back up, join forces with the team, and maybe look to start and go for a play, as they do stay on the high ground at the moment. Up top, ooh. Outside the base though, Fenrir will be caught out as he was going for a bit of a walk around warding mission as it seems.
And it got spotted too, and pinked it out right away, and now they make their way into the Roche pit. That is a pretty dangerous territory for Vici to walk.
I don't know if you can fight this if you're Vici Gaming.
I don't think so either.
You may just have to let this one go. With the song, with the black hole, how do you get involved? If you're Vici Gaming, you don't really have any sort of comparable team fight capabilities.
They got to back out of the Roche and just earn up SCCC. Well done.
They can do it slowly but relatively safely.
The Weaver bug is actually helping them.
That is, taking the armor down of Roche. VG are doing their best to hang around, and they are going to have Ori coming down the front lines. He's trying for the Requiem, but he's getting stunned up, rooted, and Ori, he just goes down. Young 11 able to force himself up to the high ground. He'll be fine. But that always always was going to feel like an awkward play from Vici Gaming trying to contest a Roshan where they really had no business going for. They just sort of had to let that happen. It was always going to be impossible to stop that.
Yeah, he wasn't even repelled either. He just kind of walked in. That was a bit of a mistake there coming out from Vici. Paparazzi was already kind of split pushing down that mid wave too, so you could see that they were very hesitant and reluctant to go for that. Very nice gem pickup here by Kaka. Really like this. Just limiting that vision. That's pretty much the only way Vici can get back, is if they can really play around the map and just don't let Newbee try to take team fights. Paparazzi's trying his hardest to keep that split push going on, but we talked about this a few times. They were saying it on the panel too, is when you have a Night Stalker on your team, you need to do a good amount, because the later it gets, this hero starts to fall off, because you don't really bring anything to the table when it comes to team fight. Starting to look at that point where Vici's trying to get the split push going, but Newbee are just sitting back, farming. They don't seem like they're in a rush of anything here.
Still very close though, despite that Roche going down.
Yes.
It's pretty much neck and neck in net worth difference between these two sides. No doubt about that, as neither team really being able to get a huge lead. We'll see it again here. This attempt from Ori, but as you say, he has no protection. There's no way that he's getting away with that sort of movement any sort of time that he goes for it.
Yeah, that Fiend's grip coming out from Faith was perfect.
Radiant's top tower is
Here we
under
go,
attack.
wrap around from Newbee off the back of this smoke. They could catch Vici out here. Paparazzi, Shikuchi a little deeper. They do have Lanham from behind. He will spot some of this out, so they know that's going on. But here, but the silence immediately stopping the potential song of the Siren. Means that Vici may have a chance to turn it around. It doesn't look like it though. The damage rate in the black hole coming from KP. Holds down the Shadow Fiend. They take down 2 Newbee, and they put an immediate stop to Vici Gaming going for that play. And off the back of that failed Roche attempt to disrupt and that failed push, it sort of feels like Vici Gaming, they may be running out of options. They're trying for these plays, but it's just not looking very solid or convincing.
No, I mean, they just straight up cannot take fights at all versus this side, like we were mentioning. Now is probably their best timing window because that black hole is down. So as soon as Shadow Fiend is up, get his souls, they might just have to take a smoke and try to go for a fight. But they're versus an Aegis Razor. So it's still very risky for them to do anything, and they still kind of are claiming that gold advantage from time to time again, but that's the difference between, like this patch, we've been mentioning a lot. Teamfight is so damn important.
I think a lot of it that could sort of swing it around the way of Vici's, we are still yet to really see Paparazzi go ham in these fights. He's just not been in the position to do so. Maybe once he has that Lincoln's, that's going to be where he feels more confident, sort of shikuching around the members of Newbee and trying to pick up the backliners. But it's certainly not going to get any easier with the way that Newbee are amping up the pressure, taking these outer towers and keeping the lane shoved right up to Vici Gaming.
And it's so fearful now, like, because that gem that was picked up at an early time on Newbee, if he just walks into the fights, he's at risk. They can throw so many spells to break that Lincoln, so like an enfeeble, and then he just gets netted or gripped, and he's just dead in those fights. Very, very careful. Like,
Tying up that courier, but doesn't quite have the courage to go for it. There was the protection ready for the courier as well, so may not be able to get away with it.
I feel like Vici definitely needs, they probably are feeling pretty fresh.
Oh, this Glimmer Cape play from Kaka is going to be allowing him to set up, but there is the immediate time lapse. Faith actually came a little too close. Maybe could have looked to try and set up and wait for the catch, but wasn't there, so Paparazzi able to play his way out of it.
Looked like he was kind of trying to position himself there, right, for the time lapse, the way he was running. Close, but now Vici, yeah. This is the play that I think they have to do here. They have to have some urgency in this game. Whenever Black Hole is down, you have to try to make some plays.
Okay, and there was no warding there, so
There was no warding.
they could try and surprise them. Only at the moment, I believe the Paparazzi Weaver showing on the map. That black hole, it's up. I know it's not there at the moment, but it's up again very shortly. Only 12 seconds, and the black hole will be back up. So Vici Gaming, if they want to do something with the smoke, they've got to do it quick.
It's already going to be up.
Yeah.
KP's making his way down. It's not there right now. Let's see if they can make anything happen here.
Well, they've got their eyes on Mugi. Does still have a good amount of duration on that double damage. Ori's been spotted out on the side, forces himself away, and the smoke from Vici Gaming is just not going to allow them to get anything done. They have to back off. It is night time. They can try and play around that advantage as Newbee are actually confidently moving up onto VG's half of the map. Paparazzi starting to tickle into Mugi, but that really is all that it is at the moment.
Yeah, he's got Aegis. He's like, come on, guys. He really wants him to go on him there, but they are not going to take the bait.
You do have the warding down here, Vici Gaming, so they're fully aware of what's going on, and you can see that from their movement. They just back away. They know that they cannot take a full-on fight into the Aegis and outside of their base at this stage. Ori just trying to split on the map, keeps pushing him in this middle lane, but soon the response is going to have to come in for Vici Gaming. As you know that Newbee, they're getting closer and closer to thinking about going for high ground.
They are definitely. Faith was TPing mid and he canceled it, so they made a team decision. They want to try to close this out already with this Aegis, get a Rax advantage.
I mean, how do you stop this? Where's the deep push?
Only really Shadow Fiend and Rubik to try to deep push this down.
Newbee with this Razor Viper lineup getting to sort of the peak of their mid-game strength there. How can BG put a stop to it? Ori trying his best with the Razors to clean things out. Already the tier 3 tower down to less than half health. Paparazzi on the sidelines trying to poke in. Immediately has to count. That's bad though. Get the telekinesis onto SCCC, dragging him in, but a quick glimmer cape from Kaka. Will keep the Viper safe. Repel onto the SF. Oh, here's the song. Here's the setup. KP, look at the movement of attention. That's the BKB, the Black Hole, ready to go. On to 3. Holds them all in. They lose 2. They lose 3. Triple kill for KP Enigma. And Ferrer, he's not getting away for it. He has to run out. GG. It's all too much. The sleep black hole combo that we were looking for all game hits them hard and knocks VG down in game 1.
This just looked like Newbee discipline at its finest. They were just sitting back waiting for the moment to go, and you saw Vici, they felt like a bit lost to me. They were just kind of trying to make these smokes. That one smoke happened, but it came out so late, and they couldn't take fights ever. It just came to that point where they're like, it just impossible.